Hello there. Welcome to my show, COVID-19 Update by Heerak. And today is May 25th, 2020, and it's Memorial Day. So I would like to commemorate all the U.S. soldiers who died. As you know, I'm Korean American, and a lot of U.S. soldiers died during the Korean War. So Koreans are very thankful for what U.S. soldiers have done. Um, so yeah, so thank you all the soldiers who died in Korea. We appreciate what you have done. Without you fighting for us, probably the Korean Peninsula would have become communist, like China. But with South Korea, we're very thankful that you fought and gave your life. Um, First fighting the North Koreans and then fighting the Chinese, who wanted to make the Korean Peninsula communist. And that is why South Korea is not a communist country. So we're deeply thankful for that. And Christianity has grown a lot in South Korea as a result of a lot of American missionaries coming and sharing the gospel. So in the United States of America, whenever you travel around, you will see Korean churches. And so one of the jokes is, where there are three Koreans gathered, there will be a church. And that's not just in America, it's like all over Europe as well, actually all over the world. So it's because the US soldiers died and uh, pushed the communists out of South Korea that Korea has a very active Christian presence and Christian church activity and Christian world missions. So we honor the dead, and the Korean War made many women widows. It's like that with a lot of wars. Most of the soldiers are men, and people die in the wars, right? When you sign up to be a soldier, there's a chance you could die. Um, and sometimes women become widows when their husbands die, right? That's happening with COVID-19 as well, obviously. There are a lot of people dying, and husbands are becoming widowers, wives are becoming widows. Death rate is just astounding. And I guess God is honoring United States and the soldiers who died by keeping the death row from COVID fairly low today. I don't think that's the new normal. I think it's just a couple day of fluke because we had our whole nation closed for a couple months. So we're kind of reaping the benefits of that in a sense right now. Um, and today is a special day. It's a Memorial Day. And as I said, like if it weren't for US soldiers dying in a war in South Korea, we would not have all these churches in South Korea. We would not have all these global missionaries sent from South Korea. They say that after United States, South Korea sends the most number of Christian missionaries around the world. And that would not have happened if, uh, General MacArthur and the U.S. military fought Chinese communists, North Korean communists, and were able to push them back. And so, in a sense, God is honoring the U.S. dead soldiers from wars like in Korea, which allowed Christianity to proliferate. So that's why I think the death rate is kind of low today. But I don't think that's the new normal at all. Um, and obviously, because there's a lot of opening up, I think we'll see exponential growth in deaths. That's coming fairly soon. Um, Yesterday, in 24 hours, we had 507 deaths. So the death went from 97,000 711 to 98,218. So I'm sure that will be broken by tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Certainly in this week. Confirmed cases are kind of rising steadily at around 20 to 30,000 per day, and that's 1,642,021 cases. Yesterday, 24 hours later, today we have 1,662,375. And so still, the death rate of the confirmed cases is staying constant at about 6%. So if 100 Americans get COVID, 6 Americans will die. That's something that we're currently expecting because that rate has been constant. And with the nation opening up, it's possible that we'll see a spike in COVID-19 cases. And if the 6% remains similar, with more confirmed cases, we're going to have more death. So you see how that works? Unfortunately, Dr. Birx is saying that Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, this DMV zone, we call that DMV zone here, Greater Washington, D.C. area, is seeing the greatest number of coronavirus positive cases, which obviously translates into increase in deaths. So those deaths are coming in a few weeks. So by June, we'll see unfortunate deaths spike in Washington, D.C., Virginia, and Maryland. And I'm anticipating, 1,000 people dying per day in this DMV area, and 300 of those deaths will be in Virginia's 8th District, 10th District, and 11th District, which are Northern Virginian area, and basically the epicenter of COVID-19 in Virginia. So that's my prediction for the summer. And that's one of the reasons why I voted absentee ballot. I'll share the sticker with you. I voted, absentee today for one of the elections, and that is the Republican primaries for June 23rd, 2020. There are currently there are actually 3 candidates running now, and so one of these 3 will be selected on June 23rd, and he or she will run against Mark Warner in the general elections, November 3rd, 2020. And I'm hoping that the Republican candidate will win. All of them are very good. And so, I feel like we're blessed with conservatives who are very good running for the U.S. Senate. There is, I would say, high chance that Republicans can beat the Democrats in the U.S. Senate race, just because President Trump has been very brave and embracing an anti-abortion movement, illegalizing transgenderism in the U.S. military, and they've been very good with economy until COVID hit. And he's been a decisive leader. He's always in D.C., he's moving around, and we don't even see any Democrat House of Representative members, right? And Mark Warner is like invisible. He's like hiding out. And so I would say, Republicans have a high chance of winning this election against Mark Warner. But as I mentioned yesterday in COVID-19 Update by Heerak show, it's a daily show, so you could watch yesterday's episode. The Republicans have to kind of swing right wing in order to get Republicans enthusiastic about coming out to vote. And also there are Democrats who don't like the Democratic Party, especially like on some liberal agendas, like gay marriage or abortion, particularly among traditional Catholics. And um, traditional Protestants and traditional Orthodox Christians. And if the Republican candidate swings extremely right wing, they're going to get those Democrats who are discontent with the liberalism in the Democratic Party to vote for them. And they need the Democratic Party members to come out and vote for them to win. So they need to get the anti-abortion factions among the Democrats, anti-gay marriage factions among the Democrats, and then they can beat Mark Warner. Obviously, if they're going to play the moderate card, like, oh, we're tolerant, they're not going to win. Because, President Trump won because he was not tolerant, and he supported people who were not tolerant. Uh, Look at his immigration policies when he was running in 2016. You know how much he was criticized by the liberals and the media for his immigration policies that were intolerant. But that got the Democrats coming out voting for him, Democratic working class. As I explained yesterday, most Americans are intolerant. So they identify with political leaders who are intolerant. So President Trump was able to capture a lot of Democrat votes, working class votes, and that's why he won. And obviously, whoever becomes a candidate in the Republican Party running against Mark Warner, he or she needs to swing extremely right wing, or there's no chance of winning, I would argue. And so, yeah, nobody's going to come out and vote for a moderate. So hopefully, the Republican candidate for U.S. Senate will be smart and swing extremely right wing. But I don't know. It takes courage to do that. What Israelis call chutzpah, and what Mexicans call cojones. And it's not easy to have, because you're putting yourself out there, and people are going to attack you. You know how much President Trump was attacked with his immigration policies and his build that wall rhetoric. Do you remember that? But that's what got him the victory. The intolerant rhetoric and politicking and campaigning got him the victory. And that's honest truth. And I'm going to just point out the truth, because people are not talking about it. It was because President Trump was intolerant and supported intolerant policies, the American people came out and voted for him and defeated Hillary Clinton. If President Trump talked like a duck, walked like a duck, like John McCain and Mitt Romney, moderate Republican establishment, he would not have won in 2016. There's no way. And that's the same in 2020. You need to have people come out and vote for you. And only way President Trump's going to win in 2020 is if he act like he did in 2016. Right? I mean, you don't abandon the winning formula, because we know John McCain lost. We know Mitt Romney lost. They're moderate Republicans trying to present themselves as tolerant. And we know that Ted Cruz almost lost because he's trying to say, oh, let's accept everyone. He's kind of talking the, moderate language. And, McConnell almost lost too because he's trying to present himself like he wants to embrace everybody. That's not going to win you votes in America, because majority of Americans are conservative socially, and Americans are very intolerant, and they're proud of it, right? I mean, it's just, CNN is not America. Majority of Americans are intolerant. They're happy to be intolerant. They're proud of it. And so that's why Trump won, because he represented himself as the intolerant candidate. And Americans who are intolerant identified with him. And so, yeah, I mean, America is America. We have a history since Puritanism. And this is America. This is not Canada. It's America. People are intolerant. People are proud to be intolerant, and so this is America. And obviously, I'm arguing President Trump will lose if he plays the moderate card. If he if he wants to embrace everybody, he's going to lose, because Americans don't like that, Now, There are many parts of America which are 100% white. Like you will not see like a non-white person. Like state of Iowa is like 99% white. You know, so to win the presidential election, you don't need a single black vote. You don't need a single Hispanic vote. You don't need a single Asian vote. So I think, Trump campaign is being idiotic, to be honest with you. The Trump team is being idiotic with all these like, blacks for Trump, Asians for Trump, Hispanics for Trump. All President Trump needs is the solid white vote. He doesn't need a single vote from black people. He doesn't need a single vote from Asians like me. He doesn't need a single vote for Hispanics to win the presidential race. All he needs is a solid white vote. That's what he needs to win. So when you have all these like Asians for Trump, Hispanics for Trump, blacks for Trump, I don't know. I think that's a stupid way to approach it. But that's just my personal opinion. And obviously I'm entitled to my personal opinion. Is when you represent yourself as representing everybody, and then you represent nobody, right? And then that's the problem, right? Um, Mitt Romney tried to represent himself as representing everybody, uniting America, being for everybody, and nobody gets excited about that because if you're for everybody, you're for nobody. It's kind of like a guy who's nice to all the girls. The girl that he really likes doesn't like that because she wants him to treat her specially, just her, and sometimes that can sink the deal because she's like, why does he treat all women like nicely? I don't feel special, right? Because for the girl to feel special, she has to feel like he treats her differently from all the other girls, right? Then she feels special because she's like, I'm different. I'm kind of singled out. But if the girl gets treated like all the other girls, then she doesn't feel special, right? Um, and that's to illustrate if you're for everybody, you're for nobody, right? And I think majority of Americans are very practical people. They understand that. And that's why team sports is so big in America. You don't support both teams, you support one team, and you color your face, you color your hair, you buy all this paraphernalia to support your team, right? And a lot of Americans get very serious about their team, and sometimes they hate the other team. It's like us versus them mentality, and that's very American, And if you want to be the political candidate for everybody, you're not going to win because no one wants that in America. It's just anti-America. It's anti-American to represent everybody. That's not what people want in America. People want you to choose a side. So when you say, "Oh, I want to unite the Democrat Party and Republican Party. I want to be for everybody," nobody gets excited about that. Yeah, I mean, you've been to high school in America. I went to high school in America, right? Because I immigrated with my father when he became a senior pastor of a Korean church in Philadelphia, First Korean Presbyterian Church of Philadelphia. And I went to high school in America. And all of you who went to high school in America know, you know, everyone likes a good fight, you know, fight, fight, fight. Everybody likes a fight. Um, and that's why boxing is so popular in America. Competitive sports like football uh, are very popular, Um, World Wrestling Federation is popular because it's like a competitive sport and it's violent. And so this is America, you know. We don't want everybody to win. We want a clear winner, right? We want somebody to win the Super Bowl. We don't want all the football team to win. We just want one football team to get the Super Bowl, and everybody's competing for that. This is America. That's what fuels the multi-billion-dollar sports industry. People rooting for their own team and hating the other team, right? That this is America. So when a politician comes out like Trump in 2016 saying, I'm going to bring Christmas back to America, he's like talking, fighting language, right? He's like, I'm going to take the fight to them, and I'm going to bring Merry Christmas back to America for you. So people are like, yeah, we're Team Trump because we want that kind of America, Christian America. You see, That's why Trump won in 2016. So I'm not sure if Trump's going to win in 2020 because like he's a little bit. Some people think of him as like having sold out to Republican establishment. I don't think that way. I think President Trump is still dedicated to Christian America, but there are some who are like, you know, he's kind of like watered down, and people can't get enthusiastic about like watered down, right? Like in World Wrestling Federation, I mean, there's people are shouting and clamoring for victory of one person who is fighting against the other person, right? And that's what they want. They don't want like this kind of like friendly, cordial political process. That's not what Americans want. I mean, if you study U.S. history, as you know, I'm a historian. I'm not a U.S. historian. I'm an expert of Jewish history. But if you study U.S. history, party politics has always been very vociferous, very, very aggressive, and people who became great in party politics and in American history are people who kind of pick fights with the other party. People who are like, oh, let's all be like kumbaya, my lord, get along with each other. None of them became famous in U.S. history, right? It's those people who pick fights with the other party. That's what American people want. They don't want like a loser who wants to get along with everybody. And in America, we have this saying, nice guys finish last, right? That word, that phrase doesn't exist in South Korea. In South Korea, they think nice guys win, right? But in America, we have a distinctive American maxim that says nice guys finish last because, you know, um, Americans don't want a nice guy. And Trump was not a nice guy in 2016. That's why he won. He fit the image of a winner, right, in the minds of Americans. Like he's just, he's like standing up for Christians against non-Christians, and he's like his immigration policies were clearly like, you know, pro-Christian, and a lot of the liberals called him racist because of it. But that's what got people excited about him in 2016. This is America. You know, I was talking to Ed Musang, my best friend from high school, and he was saying like, Americans don't trust Arabs. Americans don't trust the Middle East. They don't like they don't like Saudi Arabia. And he's like, I'm white trash. I'm like, you know, and this is how white trash think of Middle East, Arabs, and Saudi Arabia. And I'm like, what? I was kind of confused because I like Saudi Arabia, I like Arabic people, but Ed was like, that's not how white people are. White people in America deeply distrust Muslims, Arabs, and the Middle East. They think like Pakistan and Saudi Arabia are like terrorists. That's how Americans think. And I was like, you sure? And but he's white, right? I mean, so he's in the white world, and he's like, I'm white trash. I'm like, I don't think he's white trash, but that's what he calls himself. And he's like, this is how white people think. And I was like, whoa, because I'm Korean, I'm with Korean people, and we like Arabic people. We like the Middle East. Um, yeah, yeah, but I guess that's what makes America America and Korea Korea. Right? I'm Korean American, and I'm the subculture in Korea, and in America among Koreans, and we don't have that kind of hatred of Arabs or Muslims. But I guess what Ed was trying to tell me is being distinctively American is like being kind of prejudiced against Muslims, being like hating Arabs or hating like Muslim countries, mistrusting them, like Pakistan or Saudi Arabia, even though they're technically our allies. Ed, my best friend, he's white. He's telling me, well, white Americans just don't trust Pakistan or Saudi Arabia, all these Arabic countries, Muslim countries. And I'm like, I still don't fully understand it, but I mean, I don't understand it from I don't understand it from a experiential level, because like white people I see don't really show that hostility to me. But I think that's what separates it because they see me, they're like, oh, the Asian guy, the immigrant. Oh, I better not talk about Muslims with him because he's going to call me a racist, you know? So white people, like average white American will have their guard up when they're talking to me because I'm Asian, or like Mark Kim, who's a U.S., Virginia House of Delegates representative from Vienna. So a typical white person talking to Mark Kim or me, or Andy Kim in New Jersey, who's a Democratic U.S. House of Representative member who's Korean. A typical white person, whether Republican or Democrat, talking to us will not be like, we dislike Muslims. They're not going to admit that because they're afraid that we're going to call them racist, right? Because right. So in a sense, like Ed's telling me because he's my best friend, but he doesn't go around telling other Koreans, right? Because I'm his best friend, so he's willing to share with me things that he's not going to share with other Asians. I mean, there are Asians in his workplace at that time. He doesn't share anything with them. So I realized like, and Ed's a really nice guy, and he's a very good guy, and he's the nicest guy that I know. And so if he's talking like this, can you imagine people who are not nice? So yeah, I mean, and Ed is like this, he loves everybody, he wants to help everybody. Um, he doesn't, in my opinion, have a racist fiber in his DNA, but he doesn't trust Muslims. He doesn't trust Pakistan and Saudi Arabia because it's Muslim, right? And so if he's like that, he's a nice guy, that probably means like everybody who's like him are kind of like that. You see what I'm saying? And people who are not nice people like Ed, like people who are like bullies in high school, they probably hate Muslim countries, and they're probably like really discriminatory and racist against Muslim countries and Muslims. So when Ed told me that, it shocked me. I didn't, I had a hard time agreeing with him because at that time I was like, can this be real? And then, I started researching and doing more, historical critical work with an open mind. And then I came to realize, Ed is right. You know, he feels certain way because he's white American, and other white Americans feel similarly. And President Trump was able to tap into that angst or that sentiment of white America, and he was able to ride that into victory. Do you see what I'm saying? Because he did not present himself as like tolerant of others, because he did not present himself as like, supporting like Muslim countries. So he was able to tap into the white discontent, um, white anger, and both Republicans and Democrats came out to vote for him. But I think 2020, President Trump may actually lose because the Team Trump, and it's not President Trump, but Team Trump is working too hard to say Trump represents everybody, and nobody likes that. I don't know who his campaign managers are, but they're losers. We'll see in November 2020, whether Trump wins or not. But I cannot confidently say that he could win. Like in 2016, I confidently said he will win because I talked to in 2016 I was teaching social sciences, social studies to sixth graders at Wyatt Middle School in Emporia, which is Greensville County Public Schools. And I remember all the white students supporting Trump and all the black students supporting Hillary Clinton. Like not a single white student supported Hillary Clinton, not a single black student supported Trump. That's when I realized Trump was going to win because there's just more whites in America than blacks. And so you learn a lot in your elementary school or, classroom. You learn a lot. And so when I was teaching, if had I not taught at Greensville County Public Schools and noticed how because it was a social studies class and we studied American history, right? So we talked about elections and we had a class debate about the current election. between President Trump and Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And so we had a class discussion, and I said, you know, uh, those who want to support President Trump go on that side, those who want to try and support Hillary Clinton go on that side. It was like white and black. Students were completely separated on the racial lines. That's when I realized President Trump was going to win, because if you have that kind of unified loyalty of white people in a classroom among sixth graders, that translates into unified support by white people nationally, you know, and certainly in similar demographics. Obviously, Emporia, Greensville is a rural America, and in hindsight, we know that rural America voted for President Trump, right? Um, I mean, it's a city, but it's kind of rural. Emporia is a city, but Greensville County is kind of rural area, and there are more people in rural America than in cities. Like some people say all of Iowa is rural. I mean, Des Moines isn't, but and that's what people in the East Coast say. I mean, no offense to people in Iowa. Um, so I knew for sure, I was 100% certain that President Trump was going to win, because if you have white Americans supporting you, you don't need a single black vote to become president in America. It's like you don't need a single black vote in Virginia to become a U.S. senator. All you need is like the white vote. And it's like that in most states, and that's why white people are the majority, right? All you need is like the white vote to become a senator in any state. So Senate positions and president positions, that's definitely the case, and that's why President Trump won. Yeah, I mean, and since we're talking about Muslim countries, let's go to a ranking of Muslim countries, or Middle East, but they're basically all Muslim except for Israel, right? Iran is number one at 137,724 cases, and their total death is at 7,451, and 5% of confirmed cases are ending up in death. So they're kind of similar to America, where 6%. Saudi Arabia is number two. They have 74,795 cases, 399 death total. That's less than how many Americans died today. And for Saudi Arabia, that's like for the whole time since like November to now. And 5% of the confirmed cases are ending up in death. Qatar is number three, at confirmed cases being 45,465, and their death is 26. Only 0.05% are ending up in death. That's ridiculous, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't think Qatar has better healthcare system than we do. American healthcare system is number one. And that's why I'm saying, COVID-19 is a next generation advanced biological weapon made by China to destroy American economy. And they genetically modified so that it will kill American genetic makeup, and I think I'm right. I'm looking at the statistics here, both in terms of how many people are getting the cases and how many people of that are dying. United Arab Emirates is number four with 30,307 cases. Death is at 248, 0.8%, less than 1%. Kuwait is 21,967, 165 deaths, 0.8% of confirmed cases are ending up in death, less than 1%. And today we see, I think we need to kind of talk about this, because I know I think all 50 states are open now, at least partially, and not all of them are fully open, but some of them are partially open. And, people are thinking like COVID-19 is gone. It's not gone, it's here. Even in the last 24 hours, 507 people died, right? And I'm saying this is the gift of God to celebrate the Memorial Day. We're going to go back up again. And let me just get the quotes of people who are talking about what's going to happen because America opened up. Dr. Fauci He's talking about a second wave in the fall, though. But he did say that opening up prematurely will increase um, deaths. So if Dr. Fauci is right, we should see tremendous growth of death in June and July. I'm predicting that 1 million Americans or more will die by August 2020. Um, and I'm still going to abide by that. I think that will happen because it's kind of like the hunting analogy I talked to you about, like Jacob Lorea from Delaware, a friend of mine. He's a hunter. He likes to go deer hunting, and he ties himself up on a tree and waits for a deer, and he's up there for hours, sometimes like over 8 hours. He's tied himself there, and eventually a deer comes and he shoots it and kills it. Right? Because deer thinks that there's nobody there. Deer starts walking up, and the hunter is sitting there waiting. It's like coronavirus is like that. Coronavirus isn't gone. Coronavirus, CV-19, COVID-19 is the hunter. We're the prey. And we think that it's safe and we go outside, that's when we're going to get it. Yeah, just wait and see. That's why I'm sticking by my prediction that 1 million or more Americans will die from COVID-19 by August 2020. Yeah, we're almost in June, but we have June, July, August. A lot can happen in 3 months. Yeah, it's 6%, right? So, yeah, I mean, if there are 100 million cases, we'll have 6 million die, right? So, I mean, that's not counting what will happen when the hospital beds run out and ventilators run out. After hospital beds run out, ventilators run out, death rate could go to like 10%, 20%. So I'm kind of calculating all that and predicting that more than 1 million Americans will die by August. Let's see if I'm correct. I'm hoping that I will be not correct because look at the tomb behind me. Those are of soldiers, but I look at the widow there. I think she's the widow, visiting her husband's tomb. So if 1 million people die and if they're not husband and wife, then there's going to be a lot of widows and widowers. I mean, probably the husband and wife both would die because it's very infectious, and if you are overweight of comorbidities or you have asthma or diabetes, you're going to die. So, a lot of husband and wife are dying together, we see. That's the pattern, that when husband get it, wife get it, and they both die. Yeah, or they both survive. But sometimes both of them don't survive. One is healthier than the other to fight off COVID better. But yeah, I mean, we have almost 100,000 people dead from COVID, so we have a lot of things we can study in terms of what kind of people died, whether couples die, Canada's president, Justin Trudeau, also warns of second warning. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is warning of second wave, and they're kind of talking about the fall. And CDC director is talking about second wave as well. But what is significant is today, the World Health Organization representative, Dr. Michael J. Ryan, said, there may be a second wave in the future, but we're currently in the first wave. And first wave is not gone. And he's thinking that we're going to have a second peak in the first wave. So that differs from a second wave, right? Second wave is like you have a new start of course COVID infections. I'm arguing that this is a continuous thing, 365 days a year, like HIV or hepatitis C, which are, you can get infected 365 days a year. And that there is no such thing as like a first wave, second wave. It's just continuous. And I think WHO is beginning to come around to my position, because now they're not talking about a second wave. They're talking about a second peak, meaning it's 365 days a year, but we're going to have a second peak, meaning, US, I think, went up to around 4,500 deaths per day. So that was like a peak. So we go back to that, where 4,500 Americans are dying every day. So that would be like a second peak. So Dr. Ryan is talking about a second peak, and that's what he talked about today. And I agree with him. I think that will happen because America opened up. I think we'll go to a level, and I'm predicting there will be 10,000 Americans dying per day. And I think I'm going to be correct because we had 4,500 dying per day after Easter for a few days, which means that's definitely possible. Nothing has changed. COVID-19 is actually maybe more deadly now than it was before. It's mutating, and now we have the New York virus, which can kill children, infect children. So it's a mutation that's attacking children. And right now, as of today, 2 children in Fairfax County, that's just one county, 2 children in Fairfax County were diagnosed with New York virus, what I'm calling New York virus because they started in New York. But it's, a strain of COVID-19. And I'm predicting that, if Arlington County Public Schools, Alexandria City Public Schools, Fairfax City Public Schools, Falls Church Public Schools open up in the fall, that this New York virus will spread. And I'm predicting that thousands of children will die in Virginia's 8th District. And that's why I'm calling on Arlington, Alexandria, Falls Church, and Fairfax counties to shut down the public schools for fall. Because I don't want thousands of children in Virginia's 8th District to die. But, obviously, if you want to take the risk with your children's life and open up schools, that's your right. I mean, I'm single. I've never been married. I'm hoping that God will send me a good Christian woman to marry and start a family. And so, I wouldn't send my children to school in the fall with New York virus proliferating. Are you kidding me? My children's lives are important. Yeah, if I have to stay home in order to take care of children, I'll do it. Because life is important. I mean, obviously, I'm not married. I don't have any children, so it's not my problem right now. But what I'm saying is, if you are a parent and you have kids, you want to take chance with your children's lives like that. I don't understand the logic because before COVID-19 wasn't really infecting children, but now there's a strain that's just infecting children. In Washington, D.C., there are, dozens who are infected with this right now. And some of them will die because they just got infected, just got diagnosed like last week. They may die in a couple of weeks, And, these 2 just got diagnosed in Fairfax County. I mean, they may die in like 2-3 weeks. We don't know, right? I'm predicting that this New York virus will kill thousands of children in Virginia's 8th District. So if schools open up, I mean, maybe tens of thousands. We don't know. So I am saying, please close down the schools. We don't want children in Virginia's 8th District to die. And that's why you should vote for me for Virginia's 8th District. I'm running as a U.S. Congressman in Virginia's 8th District, Arlington, Alexandria, Falls Church, and parts of Fairfax County. I'm running as an independent against the current incumbent U.S. Congressman, Don Beyer, who's a Democrat. I'm far better than him. I can do far more for you. That's why you should vote for me. Unfortunately, Don Beyer and his buddy, Virginia Governor Northam, are playing dirty. They're trying to block me out of the Virginia ballot box for November 3rd, 2020. As I've shared with you, and you can watch video at the end of this video, top one, you can click on it and watch it. It's like 2-3 minutes. I used to run as for U.S. Congress as a Republican primary contender, and from November 2019 to February 2020. But situations dictated that I needed to change to become an independent. So starting March 2020, I started running as an independent. Obviously, I'm on the radar because Virginia's 8th District is the most important district in Virginia for U.S. Congress, many people say. It's the one closest to Washington, D.C. It has probably the greatest wealth, uh, very influential people. A lot of people work for the federal government, live in Arlington, Alexandria, especially. And so, yeah, I mean, so I'm on the radar. People know I was running for the primaries and I was a contender in the Republican candidate as a Republican candidate. Had I continued to run for the Republican primary, I'm confident I would have beat Jeff Jordan and Mark Elmore. Both of them are my friends, and I really appreciate them and like them. But I believe I'm the better candidate. I'm confident I would have won. But situation dictated that I run as an independent, and so I'm running as an independent. And Don Bayer knows I could beat him. That's why there's this dirty politicking going on, trying to put me out of the ballot box. And so, Virginia Governor Northam declared a state of emergency, a stay-at-home order on March 30th, and he said it should last until June 10th. And I have to submit 1,000 signatures to Virginia State Board of Elections by June 9th. So every state, for those of you who are not watching from America, or those of you watching in America who don't always know what the election system is like, each state has its own board of elections. So Virginia has Virginia Board of Elections, Washington, D.C. has Washington, D.C. Board of Elections, Maryland has Maryland Board of Elections, and these Board of Elections decide, they carry out the elections in the state, and the state laws govern it. So under Virginia state law, I have to submit 1,000 signatures as an independent candidate by June 9th. Now, I'm officially a federal candidate with FEC, Federal Election Commission, as a candidate for U.S. Congress and Virginia's 8th District. I'm an official candidate with United States House of Representatives. I'm registered with the Office of the Clerk as a candidate for U.S. Congress and Virginia's 8th District. So I'm recognized federally, but elections happen in the state. So I'm in Virginia, so my election happens in Virginia. And to be on the Virginia state ballot, there are Virginia state laws that I have to follow, one of which is to submit 1,000 signatures by June 9th. And obviously, Don Bayer knows this. Obviously, Governor Northam knows this. And that's why they declare a state of emergency on March 30th, which was relatively early, preventing me from going door to door to collect signatures. And that this order, they initially said, will last till June 10th. So on March 30th, I wrote to Virginia Board of Elections to waive my requirement for 1,000 signatures because it's legally impossible for me to collect signatures. And the head of the Virginia Board of Elections, the Commissioner Piper, wrote back and said he doesn't have the legal authority to grant me that waiver. So I wrote to Virginia Governor Northam requesting that he waive the requirement. And I wrote the letter, a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't heard back yet. So, Governor Northam seems to be trying to push me out of the election, or ballot box, right? In Virginia, using Virginia law. So I feel like it's dirty. So, I'm hoping that you will call Virginia Governor Northam or write a letter to him or email him requesting to give me that waiver for 1,000 signatures because it's impossible for me to collect signatures under the stay-at-home order, right? Here in the Virginia State District. And it's, we gotta keep elections fair and clean. This kind of dirty politicking by Democrats in Virginia State District is kind of disgusting. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so I'm hoping that you will contact them and we can bring fairness and justice to Virginia's election process. So vote for me on Virginia's, for Virginia's 8th District on November 3rd and get me on that ballot in Virginia. You can do it. Today, I'm going to share with you some photos from Cambridge. You're kind of like my family, and you probably feel like I'm like your family member. We laughed together, we cried together, we talk about COVID-19, death together. We talk about all these social issues, spiritual issues, and you know that I understand you the way that Tambay doesn't understand you. And so you feel like Heerak Christian Kim, independent candidate for U.S. Congress and versus 8th District, understands you and your family and the things that you need as a family. And I understand that because I do understand you, right? So I know that you are appreciating the fact that I understand you. And so I like to share, part of my life so you get to know me better, right? I'm hoping to be your U.S. Congressman starting, after elections in November 3rd, 2020. So I want you to get to know me better. So I share, part of my life with you. And as you know, I'm graduating with a master's degree from School of Nursing and Health Studies from Georgetown University with concentration in clinical nurse leader. So our program goes from basically September, my cohort, we started at actually June because we had a pre-course from June to August. And then that was in 2018. And then all of us are finishing in August 2020. We did participate in graduation ceremony in May because there's only one graduation ceremony per year. And we do have pitting ceremony this week Friday, as I shared with you a couple of days ago. Watch that video to learn more about it. And so it's a celebration time for us, So I'd like to give a shout out to my cohort members. So there are 25 of us graduating in the clinical nurse leader program. So I love you guys. Congratulations to all of us. And we're going to be in the pinning ceremony this Friday. So all of us are very excited, everybody else works so hard. You you don't know how hard the program is. I mean, well, those of you who are in my cohort, all 25 of you, or 24 of you are graduating with me, all 25 of us, we know how hard this program is. It was like from August 2018 to August 2020, it's like nonstop intensity. Because it's like, it's like a 365 days a year program. It's like COVID-19. It's like, so for 2 years, we're like, we are forced in our stress, difficulty, hardship, hard work, So it's a bond that cannot be separated. Like 25 of us are like bonded for life through this trial of hardship, I mean, several of us had nervous breakdowns, They were saying that they had nervous breakdowns, like one of our cohort members was saying like, she just like sat down while she was taking a shower, she just sat down and started crying. I was kind of surprised, I didn't have a nervous breakdown, because, I lived in Israel for more than 3 years. Like there were buses being blown up by Intifada, like every day or every other day. So I took the bus every day. So, for 3 years, that I was there in Israel, it was like lottery. Like one day my bus could blow up and I could die, you know? So, I mean, can you imagine the intensity of that? And, one day, bus blew up and my classmates were in the bus behind that and they were like all traumatized. Like some of them became mentally ill, like they flipped and like they had to be confined to a mental institution. Because I mean, I should be laughing, but they lost all sense of reality. So they're like confined to mental institution. Hopefully they're out by now. But yeah, and they, some of them saw the bus blew up right in front of them and people's body parts flying. And when they got off their bus, they're looking at all these body parts lying around, So I'm, I'm a nursing. I, I'm being trained to be clinical nurse leader, so these things don't bother me really. But it bothers some people, right? I mean, so and so I mean, it bothers me, but I mean, I'm not going to nervously break down because of it, Um, because nurses have to deal with that. What do you think nurses do? When there is a massive bomb attack or there's a missile strike, a foreign nation, and all these people have body parts missing. Who do you think takes care of them? Nurses, right? So, I mean, I mean, but yeah. So anyway, when I was in Israel, I didn't, you know, I mean, I went through that. So like at Georgetown, like, like my core members, some of them were having nervous breakdown and they're sharing about how they just sat down and start crying in the middle of the shower. It's a very difficult program. That's why we're becoming clinical nurse leaders. I mean, we're going to be leaders of all the clinical nurses. You know, I mean, can you imagine that? You know what they say about nurses? They say nurses eat their young. That's a saying. Because nurses are tough, right? Because they have to deal with death every day, right? Amputations, death, every day. So nurses are tough. Now we're being trained to become leaders of nurses, right? And our title will officially be clinical nurse leaders. We're being trained to be leaders of nurses, and they say nurses if they're young. So can you imagine how we are? And we're being trained to be leaders of nurses, you know? And so the program is intense, but I say it's worth it. And I want to do some advertisement for my program, Clinical Nurse Leader Program at Georgetown. I believe it's the best program in America. That's my belief. And that's why I'm in it. I borrowed $200,000 to be in this program. It's like $100,000 per year. Tuition, living expenses, books, transportation, food, I borrowed $100,000 per year for two years because I believe that this program is worth it. And others, I mean, we have cohort members who are wealthy. Their parents can just write a check or whatever. But we have cohort members who are not. And there are others who borrow $200,000. And, paying it back over 30 years, it's like, comes out to like 500,000. But it's worth it because I want to save lives and I want to be leader of nurses. I want to be the best wherever I am. And Georgetown University's Clinical Nurse Leader Program trains you to do that. And that's why I would encourage you to apply. Like, you don't have to be a nurse to apply to this program. In fact, nurses can apply to this program. It's one of those like you go from 0 to 60 in like 6 seconds, one of those deals, So it's very intense. You go from 0 to being a leader of clinical nurses in 2 years. And that's why it's so rewarding. It's so intense. And you become a leader of leaders, And so, so you could be an English major and you may not have taken any science classes in college. All you have to do is take 5 prerequisites that Georgetown requires. You could do that during the summer through community college. Some of you have all these, science courses already at college fulfilling like core requirements or whatever. So you may have only like 2 or 3 courses to take. If you're a bio major, you probably, it's fairly easy thing to do. I have a friend in the program, and Lena, she's German. Like her parents are both like Germans. And I think she was born in Germany. Like she teaches at the German school in Washington, D.C. And she's amazing. She's very intelligent. And she was in the PhD program in German at Georgetown. So she was teaching German to Georgetown undergraduates. She's amazing. I first met her at the Kaffeestunde, because I speak German, right? Ich spreche Deutsch. I learned German in University of Pennsylvania, and I received a German government scholarship to take German courses in German at the University of Regensburg. So I have three courses I took there. So it's kind of equivalent to like 12 units or whatever. That's on my University of Pennsylvania transcript. And so German government paid me to take these courses in Germany. And so I was inducted into German National Honor Society when I was a student at University of Pennsylvania. And so, I went to Kaffeestunde at Georgetown University, and that's where I met Lena. And she was, she told me, like, I just got accepted to Clinical Nurse Leader Program. And I'm like, me too, She's the first Clinical Nurse Leader, a core member that I met, But I met her at the cafe that she was running it because she was in the PhD program. And it's like 4 or 5 years. And she was teaching German. She's a brilliant scholar, and I guess she wanted to save lives like me, and so she went to clinical nurse program from her German PhD program. So she was taking like core requirements while she was like teaching German to like German majors or German students who wanted to learn German at Georgetown. She was like taking these courses, online and yeah. So even if you're like a German major or a history major or English major, yeah, just do the core requirement and do this program. You love it. I mean, Lena loves it. I love it. Um, and yeah, she's an amazing. She's going to be an amazing clinical nurse leader. I could see. Every single one of us, actually 25 of us, we're going to be amazing. Because this program's amazing. So I would recommend, you do the same. If you just graduate from college and you're trying to figure out what you want to do, I said, come to our program. You won't regret it. It's hard. You're going to work like a dog for 2 years. You may have a nervous breakdown, but that's fine. You become tougher, right? You're forged in fire. Yeah, and you get to save lives. So I would definitely recommend you do that. Yeah, so it's called Clinical Nurse Leader Program, and it's at Georgetown University. So you Google Georgetown Nursing Clinical Nurse Leader, or just go to Georgetown Nursing, and they have a you can navigate to master's program in Clinical Nurse Leader, and you can apply. I think the deadline is November, so you could take summer classes through community college, core requirements, get your application together and submit it like in October. You can submit it early if you want, sooner the better, right? Get your name out there. It's very competitive to get in because I think it's the best clinical nurse leader program in the country. Like Ying Fu McMillan, she's brilliant. She got accepted to Johns Hopkins Clinical Nurse Leader Program in Georgetown. She came here because she thought it was better. So obviously, we agree it's #1 program, right? And so, yeah, and Dr. Yearwood, who's the director of the program, she should be thankful. I'm advertising for you. So she, I mean, we have like a lot of great applicants, but we can even have a better, many more people apply, right? We can always choose best from the best. I mean, this is an amazing program. So, lots of people are applying already, but I mean, I don't want you to miss out. If you want to save lives and be a hero, be a leader of nurses, this is the program for you. Yeah, our program is far better than other programs around here. So it's definitely worth the money. I mean, I'm saying this as someone who borrowed $200,000, and yeah, and I would say it's 100% worth it, right? Because if you're going to go into the nursing world, you want to be like, well, like a follower or a leader. I mean, if you want to be a leader in the nursing world, you have to go to a school that's going to train you to be a leader. And that's what Georgetown Clinical Nurse Leader Program is. So yeah, you could become a nurse and be a follower. Yeah, I mean, there are 4 million nurses in America. Yeah, I mean, most of them are followers, and you could be one of those followers. But if you want to be a leader, like me, then you'd want to apply to Georgetown's Clinical Nurse Leader Program, because that's what this program trains you to be a leader of nurses. That's why it's called Clinical Nurse Leader. And so, yeah, so I recommend you to apply to this program. If you don't have any money, just borrow it, And you can always pay it back later, It's worth it. Yeah, I mean, and if your parents can't pay the tuition, hey, what are you hesitating? In Virginia's 8th District, Arlington, Alexandria, Falls Church, and Fairfax County, most parents can write a check without even blinking. So you should definitely apply to this program. And it's close by. You can live at home, enjoy your parents' food. Because Georgetown food kind of sucks. I mean, I have no offense, but I mean, I'm not going to lie to my friends and who are watching this show, people who count on me to tell them the truth. Food is not that good at Georgetown. I'm sorry, but they need to work on the food. Yeah, I mean, food is important. Food is very important. And now that we're talking about food, let's go to the food. So As I have explained to you, Cambridge University has many different colleges, and I'm a member of Jesus College, and you see my necktie, right? This is Jesus College necktie. But there's also, other colleges, and one of the colleges is Churchill College, and this being Memorial Day, and Churchill being like a major important leader during a war, I felt like maybe, I should introduce you to Churchill College. So at Cambridge, they have a college named after Churchill. It's called Churchill College. And just like Jesus College, they have their own formal hall. So each college has its own library, its own program, its own dining hall. So like if you're a member of Churchill College, generally you take all your courses, in your college, eat in your college with your friends, you party at Churchill Party. They have their own dance for their own college members every Friday night. Um, and so that's what every college does. But once in a while, the college invites the other college. So Churchill College invited Jesus College. So we go and have dinner there on Friday, and then we party with them, in their own party. So it's like they're hosting it. So, different colleges do that once in a while. They don't always do it, but they do. So I went, I enjoy people, meeting new people, partying with new people. So I always go whenever I have a chance, I love Cambridge, but yeah. Um, but now, even in Cambridge, there are no formal halls, because of COVID. Yeah, I feel bad for all the students at Cambridge who are there. They're going to miss out on all the great things. But anyway, yeah. So the photos here are from two different nights at Churchill, and that's why you have one has me with a blue shirt and a yellow tie. The other one has like a black shirt with a white tie, right? So you could look at the tie and see those are two different nights. So one night, I enjoyed the company of people from Spain. So those two ladies are I think they're from Spain. Uh, and I think they're like nobility in Spain or, yeah. So, like a lot of people in Cambridge are nobility or royalty. And so we got to enjoy their company and have fun, dancing away. And yeah. So, so that was fun. And they're very attractive. I like that outfit. The girl that I'm next to there. Yeah, I really like that outfit. And then we there's a lot of drinking. It's you see all the on the one of the photos there. You see all this. Generally, one person brings one bottle. So yeah, one person drinks minimum half a bottle. Generally, one person drinks a bottle. Sometimes one person drinks two bottles. So they drink a lot at Cambridge. In these events. And every college, not every college, Jesus College has its own cellar. Jesus College goes all the way back to like Middle Ages. So, yeah, it's Thomas Cranmer's college. The guy who created the book of English Common Anglican Church Book of Common Prayer. Thomas Cranmer. I think it's Thomas. Yeah, Thomas Cranmer. He is a member of Jesus College. We go all the way back. Thomas Cranmer. So we have wine from like Middle Ages that they bring out during some of these formal halls. And really good wine from the college cellars. Um, yeah. So Jesus is a very old college. That's why it's hard to get in. That's where all the royalty and nobility are. There are other colleges as well, but yeah. Churchill College is more recent, so I don't know. I don't think they have a wine cellar. I don't know. I didn't ask them, but they have great parties. So, and dinner is great, and yeah. So I enjoyed time, meeting people and having fun with people. And the one in the middle, you see the coat of arms of Churchill College. Each college at Jesus College is a coat of arms, and that's this. This is the coat of arms of Jesus College. Three roosters. Our colors are black and red, which I'm wearing now. Um, and Churchill College, that's their coat of arms. And you see, I made some new friends. It was a lot of fun, the ladies from Churchill College, they're really nice. Yeah. So yeah, it was a lot of fun, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I just wanted to share Churchill College with you, and yeah, formal halls at Cambridge, they were just amazing. I missed them, And this is my graduation year, your class of 2020. There are going to be a lot of formal halls and not formal halls. We call them like, like banquets, graduation banquets, and we're not going to have any of them. And it's so sad. Last year, class of 2019, they had all these great events, celebrations and stuff, like right now, we don't really have any of those. So sad. But yeah, anyway, yeah. But still we're gonna celebrate our graduation, right? Yay! Congratulations to all our cohort members. We're gonna be in our pinning ceremony on Friday. Yay! Pin, pin, pin. Pinning ceremony. Pin, pin, pin. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that's my cheer for our pinning ceremony on Friday. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, my family's all excited. And so yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I'll keep you updated on what's going on at Georgetown School of Nursing with the Clinical Nurse Leader Program, and I hope that many of you watching me will apply and come, even if you're like in California or Massachusetts, or you're watching this from Germany or from Spain. You can apply to Clinical Nurse Leader Program and come. Yeah. Yeah, international students can participate. So if you're a billionaire or or millionaire or royalty or nobility in Spain, I dated some royalty and nobility when I was in Cambridge. I think I share some. I'll share more with you. Like European royalty and nobility. But yeah, if you're European nobility or royalty, uh, and you want to be leader of nurses, why don't you come? To our program? Yeah. Yeah, I extend my invitation to all you distinguished individuals around the world. Here is your chance to become leader of nurses, become a clinical nurse leader. 2 years of hell studying. I enjoyed all the study, but it was really hard. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna tell you what it's gonna be like. It's gonna be like living hell in terms of like you have to study hard, but it's worth it. It's gonna make you into a clinical nurse leader, and it's like the best program in the country. Clinical nurse leader, best program in the country. In America. So if you're in Spain or Germany or France, and Lena is German, right? Yeah, I mean, if you're in Germany, why don't you come over, do this clinical nurse leader program? Yeah, so yeah, so I extend the invitation. I think you cannot borrow any money because you have to be an American citizen to have student loans. So if you're coming from Europe, you kind of have to have money. But I know you have money. Women I dated are like billionaires. There, there are a lot of billionaires in Europe. So millionaires. So I mean, it's a couple $100,000 because that's like peanuts to billionaires or multimillionaires. That's like nothing. Know. I say, why not? And this is a worthwhile program. And so, yeah, I invite you to come and do this program. Hopefully, we'll have a rise in international applicants after the show. Dr. Yu should be thankful that I'm like advertising globally for her. She's the director of a clinical nurse leader program. Yeah, so Georgetown University program is #1, but I want to make it even better, because there is no amount of bettering you can do, right? You can always be better, right? There is no such thing as perfection. We can always be better, right? Only God is perfect. So, you could be #1 and you can get better as #1. You see what I'm saying? And that's what we call quality assurance. You want to improve quality. Even if you're #1 hospital in the world, you could even be better next year. And that's the kind of attitude that we are trained in at Clinical Nurse Leader Program at Georgetown. You see, you see why you should come. Yeah. Anyway, hopefully you'll be part of a great tradition. if you enter, if you apply this year, you'll start out in 2021, so you'll be cohort of 2023. And I may come back and speak to your cohort, because we had an event where the cohort from 2 years ago came and spoke to us. Yeah, so maybe I'll speak to you guys when you come. 2 years later, I'll go and speak to you, you know. And you could say, yeah, I saw your show, COVID-19 update by Heerak, and that's why I chose to apply. And some of you'll be like from Germany or from Spain. It's like, yeah, I saw your show from Spain, from Germany. And then I started to apply, Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, yeah, so thanks for stopping by and watching my show, being part of this wonderful show. I hope you enjoyed it and also learned something and something to think about. And obviously, I want to give you information that's going to help you survive COVID-19. Um, World Health Organization said that this is probably forever, kind of like hepatitis C and HIV. It started and it's like continuing forever. So they think that it's like that. And I agree. I think that's like that too. So Dr. Fauci, I think, is coming around to my position. World Health Organization actually came around to my position because they initially said it was seasonal. So I'm the only one who was actually correct from the beginning, from the very beginning. Yeah, I just want to put it out there on record. Yeah. So anyway, just keep watching. Yeah. So I hope that you will stop by tomorrow. It's a daily show. Uh, and so I hope you will be well and that your family will be well. Now, look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Okay, bye.